Hello everyone. I'm continuing with my PCB for my Edison blue Amberol record player, and so I mentioned this other plugin which is the Generate Interactive HTML bill of materials. So what it does, it creates a bill of materials, and it's all displayed in a HTML document, a web page basically. You just click this, and it will automatically generate a bill of materials. I've already done this, so I'll just bring it on. This is what it looks like. Let's make it bigger. There we go. So you can see the front and you can see the back. You can select items, and you've got a list to tick off. Well, I've already done this list of sourced, so I've sourced all my stuff. So in your options here, we can mark when checked the sourced. So you can see that all the green stuff I've sourced basically, and I'll be using this when I'm placing the parts after I've put the paste on. So as you can see, here we are. This is all my parts sourced, and I've used an old pillbox to sort everything out when I want to use it. And let's just move that over there, and you can see that I've made a stencil and placed it on my stencil board for pasting here. Now, one thing about this, I'm making my own stencil, but if you can't make your own stencils, as I say on PCBWay, there is an option to have a stencil provided. Now, the one they'll provide will probably be, let's have a look at KiCad again. So what I can do is we'll turn everything off, and we'll look at the front paste, what we actually need. So if we go to our paste layer, and we'll turn our front paste layer on. Well, let's turn on the edge cuts as well, so we can see what we're looking at. There we go. So yeah, we can see that. Makes it look a bit better. So you can see that this is what the stencil will probably look like from PCBWay, which shows everything. So we've got these pieces here. But I'm not going to put these pieces on. I'm not going to put this on, although it's not nothing's pasted here. There's no surface mount, but we have some surface mounted bits here. We have these ones here, these three here, and these three here. So I can, when I'm making my stencil, I can remove them, and it's quite easy to make a stencil the way I do it. Let's turn everything back on now that you've seen that. So I'll just put it back as it was. All there we go, everything's back on. Depending on what you got clicked brings it to the front. We can plot this out, and what I do is I make my own plots. So basically you've got print. Well, print's just for printing on a printer. It just prints what's on the screen, and it prints basically. But what we use is plot. Plot plots everything, and it gives you a plot for every layer that you choose to plot. So if we go to plots, and we can actually use DXF. I'm not going to make another one because I've actually modified it, but all you need to do is check what you want. What you could just have is you could turn everything off apart from our front paste, which is this one here, this one. So you'd just have this turned on, and you would plot. I set the directory you want. I usually make a folder called my fab, and will do a DXF. You can do any format you want. You can have it as a Gerber, PostScript, SVG, HTML, or a PDF even. But what it does, it creates a file for each layer. Sorry. And that's what I do. And then what I do is, if I open up the file, let me just bring the main thing up. Right, so if we open up the root folder, you can see that I do a MyFab folder in there, and you can see that I plotted everything here really, but the only one I really was concerned about was the front paste. So if we look at that, open it up in FreeCAD, you can see that all the paste, all the areas that have solder paste or solder are here, and I could use this file to create a file of my own. And the file I created was this one, and you can see there that I have just left the ones that I actually need. Now you can see there's a long strip. I'll show you that in the actual thing. But anyway, basically I've got a laser cutter, and I just cut this out with my laser out of a thin sheet of plastic. So let's go and have a look. Here we are. I'll just bring it up closer. So the reason it's shaped like this with these corners cut out is so that I can put it onto my standard pasting board, which is designed to take, would you believe, 100 by 100 PCB. That's what you get for prototypes. Is 100 by 100. So, so anything smaller than that will fit on here. Hang about, it's just seized up for some reason. Let me just sort out the image. Alright, okay, I got it back. I don't know what was happening there. Some decided to get sluggish. But yes, there's my stencil. And as I wanted to point out was these 4 lines here. These actually go, I don't know if we can see that. Well, actually, I was on about how small and close these, let me get something to point at. These ICs here, can you see how small and thin these pads are? Well, what I tend to do is just put a small strip. See if I can get it a bit focused on there. There, that's better. Don't you see how small they are? Getting little, well, there's hardly any gap between each pad there. But actually, when you put paste on there, the paste is going to pull up into blobs of solder. So what I do is I just put a thin strip. If I lay that down, you can see there I just put a thin strip down across the middle of them all, and then once the heat starts to heat up the solder, it splits up and pulls into little tiny blobs for each pad, because you need very little solder on them pads. So yeah, so there's my stencil, and like I say, it's designed so you can do multiple multiple PCs. You just take that one out, put another one in, then drop your stencil back down. So there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste that up, paste it up, and then we're going to populate it with the things using this bill of materials, and that way we can tick them off as we do them. So just give me a moment to set that up. There we go. I've got my paste. It's just some cheap stuff I got off the internet. Let's just zoom in on it. Can we? Yeah, there we go. Melting point 183. So that's the stuff. You can get it in tubes. Hang on, I've got a tube somewhere. I don't recommend getting the tube. Once you've opened up the end and broke the seal, it starts going thicker, and you can't get it out of the end. So just get it in the tub. Tub is a lot better. You can thin it down, but getting it out of there and then putting it back in again is a bit. I use that. Is it IPA or something, whatever you call it? A bit of that inside and thins it down a bit once it starts to dry up. But this is what it's. Open it up. That can we see in there? That's it. I'll try and get the light on it. But it's just paste, solder paste. That's all really. I think once I've used this up, I'm going to see if I can find something better. But anyway, let's. Oh, I need my glasses for this. Let me just find them. I think these are the right ones. Yes. One shot. Yeah. So basically, I just get a bit of soft stuff down in the bottom. Softer it is, the better. And I just stick it on. I don't know if that's in focus, is it? I'm going to hold it about there. So let's just try and get some focus and brightness there. There's not many, so it's not going to take too long. Basically, you're just filling all the holes up. Some up there. And then we'll go around and scrape it all off. We should just leave the right amount. Like I say, I make my own, and the thickness of the plastic is important because it's the thickness and the size of the hole that actually determines the amount of solder you've got on there. Right. I think they're all filled. Oh no, that one ain't. There it is now. And I think they're filled. And I think they're filled. There we go. Right. Let's get rid of this excess. I think it all needs mixing and thinning in again. Like I say, once the air gets in and stuff evaporates, it starts to get thicker. So I'll just close that. I mean, it lasts forever because it's amazing. Oh, you use a lot less of this paste when using a stencil as well, because you're only applying the amount you need. Whereas if you use one of them syringes, you'd end up wasting most of it basically. There, I don't know if you can, let's see if I can get that zoomed in. So yep. So you can see I've just scraped it over where all the holes are, and it's filled all the holes. It's a bit like using polyfiller on filling a hole in your wall or something. That's it. So then once we lift it up, what this should do, it should just leave the paste that is needed on all the holes. Can we see that? Hopefully you can. Can you see them pads? I don't want to put my finger on them. Actually that small little, I might just check that little tiny one out there. Just give me a minute, I need to zoom in on that with my own eyeballs. I think I've missed just one little bit. The thing about this as well, like, because it's on a good hinge, it can flop back down again, and I can just go over it. I think I just need a little bit in there. I think that's got it. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that, because let's see if I can get in focus. Right on that little, right on U3. I don't know. Can you see? I mean, it's minuscule, the amount of solder that's on there. It's just so tiny as the amount. And like I say here, I'll come back to these two, where these two chips go, because I do them a different way. I don't place them on there when I warm it up. What I'll do is I'll sort out the actual solder on them first, but you can see the bit of solder on them, I hope. Anyway, so that's that done, that's the board done. So what I'm just going to clean my tools up, clean this up, and put this board down here where we can see it. So I'll come back to that. One moment. Okay, what I think I'll do is I think I'll just keep moving this in every time I come to one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the placed. And so what I'll do is I'll change this to placed, so then everything is now not green. And we'll look at this. Well, what I'm going to do actually, what I've done is, so for this area down at, where's my hand gone? We've still got that. Yeah, big point. Yeah. So for this area round here, this area is the boost, and what I've done basically is I've just ripped a boost apart and took the components off it, and I'm going to use the components from a ripped boost, which you can see that's in this tray here, is full of all them components. And the same went for this driver. Rather than buy another chip, I had a few of the drivers. It was just as cheap to buy the module, so I just ripped the chips off the module. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these two things first. I'm going to do this chip, and it's got two capacitors, and I'm going to do all the components for this boost here as well. Apart from the through hole, I'm going to leave the through hole until later on. So let's do them areas, which basically is this piece here, them two capacitors there, oh no, them two capacitors, that diode, then that resistor and that little chip. So let's put them on, and then we can tick them off. So, oh, and I've also set my microscope up, if you can see that. So hopefully, when we're going to get you're going to get a better look. So let's just move that round to where we're working, which is in this area. Yeah. Well, let's stick that. No, let's stick the little chip on first. So I'll dig the little chip out. Yeah, get that little chip in view. That U3, and you can see the paste there. There's only a little bit of paste, and we'll see how steady my hand is as well. So we're doing this one here. So what I'll do is I'll just move my hand out of the way for now, so we can see what we're doing. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the components out and lay them out. Apart from this, of course, that's going to go back. That's that capacitor. I think both these capacitors are the same, so I'm not too worried. Which goes where? And then there's this. Hope I don't lose this, because God, it's minute, is that? You can see that I've ripped it off. I think that's all the parts apart from that. So let's get. Oh right. I'm just going to pause for a minute. I've forgotten which way around this chip goes. So I'm just going to look at another one. One moment. Right, okay, a change of lighting. My light is actually on a ring around my magnifying glass, and I need the magnifying glass to see. I'm blind as a bat. But now that I've got them in shot, I can see which is pin 1. There's a little dot there, and so that goes to the mark. I've got it the right orientation there, and you can see the paste. So you should be able to see the mess I make of this. Jesus, I'm miles away. There we go. That'll do, I think. It looks a bit skewed there, doesn't it? But I think actually it will sort itself out once it gets once the solder balls up and it starts floating on the solder. Oh look, I can't see the other side. Which side is that? Oh right. I think it needs to come this way, doesn't it? Yeah, it'll do with that. Right, so what we got the two capacitors, C8 and C10. Let's get them on. They shouldn't be too hard. What I'm going to try and do is try and put them on the way they came off. It's currently upside down. Don't see it right because it's not flat. I don't know if you actually will this one show it. Don't think so. I think this one looks actually quite flat. And this is one came off this way up. I don't know if I've got that actually in shot. I never checked. Have I? What have I got? Oh yes, I have. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they look pretty much askew, but it doesn't really matter because once it warms up, the solder will sort itself out. So we'll get this one lined up correctly. Can you see when? Oh yeah, you can. This one goes here. Looks like I should have used a bigger footprint. And this tiny, I don't know if you can see how small, hang on, let's get it in some shot. There's a bit, yeah, can you see that? Yeah, it's upside down and there's a bit of muck on the bottom. I can see this going on its own trip. Right, here we go. I suppose I could have changed this for one of my own. I hope that's in shot. Well, actually, you can just fast forward, can't you, if you don't want to watch me do all this. So rather than just stop it and pause it and come back when I've finished, it's your choice, fast forward or watch. So yeah, that looks right there. Push it down. Right, so that's that one. So we can, what we can do is we can tick all them off. So I'll just bring that across here. So we've done that, tick that one off. We've done that one, oh, them two, so we can tick them off. We've done that one, so we can tick that one off. And we've done that one, tick that one off. And we've done that one. Tick that one off. And the other one was this one here, which I've ripped these off the actual board. What they're off is hang on, I'll get them. Which is, I've actually ripped them off one of these. It's just a little module. Anybody that knows about drivers, it's the DVR DVR 8833, and so yeah, I've just ripped off one of them boards. So I'll just get all the components out. Which is just that and two. Oh, there's a resistor there as well. A resistor and two capacitors. Now then, which one was which? The small one went. I'm just looking at this board. Where are we? Yeah, got my orientation all wrong. Right, so the big one goes. Hang on, I'm just going to pause it a minute because I need to check which is which. Right, so it was the big one that's ground, and it's the small one that goes to VDD, and the resistor goes up here, resistors R1. So big one to ground, which is that one. So that is C1, which is here. So big one up there. So this is the big one. And this is a small one. I think that's the way it came off. Which way? That way. I thought I'd lost that for a minute. It's going on that way before I lose it again. And then there's the resistor goes here, which is R1. Right, as I say about this, I'm not going to put this. I'm not going to put this on here yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that later. So I'll put that back in the pillbox, and we'll tick them two capacitors and resistor off. Yep. So we tick that off. We can tick that off, and we can tick that one off. So that's that big thing. That's this thing here. That's that's optional. We might put that on later. We've got these two 100Rs and these two 4.7s. That's up here for the I2C. That. So let's get the 100Rs out. I'll move that over there. So I've got them in this tub here. This is the 100Rs. And so we need to turn them over. Sometimes I just find just dropping them will do the trick. And what did I say? Where did I say they'll go? Right, so the two 100Rs are the two middle ones, which are these 2 and 3. I'm a bit of a... I like them all the same way around. Have I got that in shot? I haven't, have I? Yeah, silly me. Where are we? There we go. There they are. I just like to push them down a little bit as well. It just sinks them in there, and I don't sneeze and blow them away. Right, so that's our 100Rs. So we can tick them off, and then we're doing the 4.7s, which go either side of that. So here's my 4.7s in there. Don't know what I'm doing, I've just lost concentration. There we go. Right, there we go. So that's them. So we can tick them off. And what we got now there? We've got number 6 there. There is a 75R. Let's find that. Just bring it into view. Have I got that in there? Yeah, next to that D1. Whoops. Yes, R6 it is. Don't know if you noticed there. What I tend to do is just hover over them and then try and drop them from a small height. Oh, right. I'll tick that one off. And then we've got down here, what we have here is a 20k. So let's get that one. Which is over by the op amp, which is just below there, so I might be able to just get that into if I just turn it round. Well, it's not an op amp, it's an audio amp there, that U5. Right, I think that'll do. It's teetering on the edge there. What did I say that was? 20k, which is this one here. I might have actually used something close for this. I think I've used a 22. I don't have a 20k. Where am I going? Oh yeah, R17. Yeah, I've used. What have I used? Yeah, 22k. I hope it works. We'll find out if the amplifier works or not. But basically, this one's the feedback resistor, so it might just clip or something like that. Anyway, we'll find out. It might improve it, you never know. Right, so let's go back here. And we'll tick that off. Oh, I haven't done these ones at the top there, so I'll do this C7, C9, which is this one here and that one over there. So these are my 1 microfarads, which I've got over here. Yeah, one happens to go close to where we are. Oh, right, hang on. Move that out of the way so you can see. Yeah, one C9. So let's stick that C9 in. And the other one is C7 next to the microcontroller. So let's just see if I can get that in. Oh yeah, there we go, C7. So that one. You'll have to give me feedback, you know, whether you want me to see me doing this or just sort of showing you the start and showing you the end. Right, so what's next? Oh, right, yeah, tick them off. So we can tick them off. Right, now we can go down the list. We're missing that one off. It's a through hole, that one, anyways. So, and what's this? R18. So we've got a 10k there. So let's find that one. Yeah, that's over here. See if we can get that the right way up. There we go. Where's it going? Oh, just above where we've been. Oh yeah, R18, it's still in shop, so let's get that. Lined up. And we'll stick that on there. There we go. Right, so that's that one. Oh, yeah, tick it off now. So we can tick that one off. Oh, we've got an LED, which is back over there. I've used a blue one because I used a big blue one in the demo. So that goes. See if I can spin this around. Oh, there you can just see it in the corner there, D1, and we can see which orientation it needs to be. So let's just get my blue LED. It's in here somewhere. Or is it? Hold on a minute. I think I've lost my blue LED. Oh no, there it is. That's small, you can hardly tell. What can we see? Oh, right. So you can see this side. Right, so I'll just put it here. There's a thing about LEDs, they've got to go the right way around. And I don't know if you can see, I don't know if I can turn it over. That is sort of in focus. You can see a green line on that side, but if you look underneath them as well, I don't know if you can see that. Have I got it in shot? Hang on. Yeah, you can see like a little triangle. Let's see if I can just turn it around. There, how's that? Yeah, that looks alright. So you can see it's shaped like a diode. And so you've got the orientation there, and so that little arrow points to this solid. Can you see that? Where's me? This end here. Right there. This end here is got a solid line, and this end here is open. So basically, it's pointing in that direction. And so you can see, I don't know, can you see that? Oh, green on top. Anyway, there's a smaller indication on top as well, like, so when you've got it this way up you can actually see. There we go. Yeah, you can't really see there is like a green speck there. Don't know if you can you see that there? It's sort of like a green speck. Where's my big hand? Where are we? Oh yeah, there's big hand. Yeah. So right there, look, can you see there's a green bit of green? Well, there's a bit of green all the way across this side, and that there tells me we need to go to this solid end of this silk screen. This side of the silk screen is open, so it gives you the orientation. Right, so let's tick that off. Right, so the other ones we've got the STM. That's another microcontroller. That's the microcontroller with all the thin, small tabs on it. So I'm going to leave that. So and the driver, we're leaving that. What's this? Oh, right. So that we can put on there. That's the amplifier. So let's do that one next. We're somewhere around the amplifier, aren't we? Yeah. So is that in shot? Yeah, it is. You get a better look at the paste as well. You see, you can see that there's just the right amount of paste. So where did I do with that? Oh, there it is. This amplifier isn't the same as the one that I had on the solderless breadboard. It's a cheap one, and I think these are only like 3 watt. Whereas the one on the actual solderless breadboard was rated at 5 watts. But I think all the pins are the same, and they all come in the same package. It's just some can take a bit more power than the others. Yeah, that looks alright, does that? Let's tick that off. Yeah, so we can tick that off. And I think that's about it. Oh no, what's this 400? Oh, yeah, that's the variable. That's a potentiometer. That's through hole, 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 and through hole. So yeah. So I think I've got all my surface mount components in place now. So the next step is to turn on the heat. Let's turn on the heat. Now then, which one shall we look at? Shall I leave it like this on this one, or well, actually I need the board. Excuse the light. I need the board sort of orientated like that, because my heater, the heat is down the centre of the heater, so I want it to go like that. And so I'll just plug it in. This hot plate is the one that I've made, by the way. Used it with a PTC, so yes, so there's our current temperature. Oh, it's quite warm. Right, so yeah, what I tend to do, because it's this type of heater is a PTC, and I tell you, you just have to look at it to heat it up. So it tends to overshoot. So what I'll do is I'll start at 150. And remember, our solder is only 185, but then you've got like the difference between the bed and the actual PCB, and heat's got to come through the PCB and melt the solder. So what I usually do is let it sort of overshoot to about 210, and then let it drop, and then just check that everything's melted. So what I'll do is, well, we can see these resistors here. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, you can see them resistors there. So I'll leave it like that, and you can see them melt, and you'll be able to see these two rows here of solder melt. And so I'll be able to show you what I mean, what happens here when I do these two. So let's go for it. Let's turn it up to 150. (150) is about a nice safe temperature for those delicate. You'll find that some SMD components are a bit temperature sensitive, and going above 150 for too long can actually kill them. I found this out the hard way. But none of these components are heat sensitive, so we can actually apply a lot of heat to these if we need to. But you can see that it's overshot the 150, and I don't know if you can see the smoke coming off. It's warming up the PCB. So like I say, we're up to about, yeah, we go 180, which is the melting point of the solder, and you can just see, I don't know if you can just see, oh well, use my big hand. I don't know if you can just see here that there's some heat getting in. What we're going to do is let that settle for a while, a little bit, so the heat gets into the board, and then I'm going to turn it up to 200, and it'll probably overshoot by about 10 degrees and then settle down again. You can see now here the temperature's starting to drop and settle. So now I'm just going to go up to 200. Don't know if you can actually see the setting. It's going to overshoot 200. Yeah, use big hand, and then you can see what point. It's going to overshoot 200, but then you're going to see this lot sort of. You can see that this is all. Oh, there we go. Look, I don't know if you saw that. Can you see how it all balls up separates into the separate different things? And these are all sort of floating into position. Yeah, I think we caught that quite well. So you can see that we've just shot over 200. So what I'm going to do now is bring it down. To about 180. Now then, this. Right, well, I'm just going to go around it and check all these components that I've got on there, and just make sure that all this solder's melted first. I'm just going to go around the whole board, and then we're going to come back, you know, all these, and then we're going to come back to these two bits where these two chips go here, and I'll show you how I solder these two on. So let me just go around the board. Right, I've got something back here, isn't it? Just want to go back to 200 again. There's a capacitor back here that hasn't. Can I get that in shot? There, can you see that capacitor there? It hasn't quite got it, so I just need to put that over the main heat for it to melt. It might be best if I try pointing this to the middle, because that's where I'm going to be working most of the time. My point. Yeah. Right, we can see that that's all gone. So I'm assuming, right, the other thing is, right, this one here. Oh, that's gone all right. This is quite a heavy piece of. Have I got it in shot? I'm on about this inductor here. This is quite a big lump of mass to heat up, so I just check that the solder seems to have gone. So I'm assuming that diode's okay. Yeah, everything looks fine. Oh, alright, so let's have this. Can we see that? Oh, I should have put. Oh, nearly tippled over there. Yeah, yeah. Can you see that amplifier? That looks absolutely fine. Does that? That's the sort of legs that I can cope with. Right. So now I just need to get these two in shot so we can see what I'm doing. Right. So let's just move them. Yeah. There we go. That's more like it. So I think we can work with that. Yeah, one's a bit out of focus, but one isn't. Right, so what I tend to do, you can see that the solder is a bit uneven. There's more on one leg than the other. And what I need is the solder to be as much as that one. I don't know if you saw that, but so what I tend to do is using my little knife is just spread it out so I've got it all even. I've just got the right amount of solder on each one. I just want to warm the knife up a touch so that the solder doesn't stop going off. The amount of solder that you need on these is so ridiculous. If you put too much on there, then you're going to get it sort of bridging from one to another. It comes with practice, getting the right amount on there. Once you know how much you need on there, then usually you can get away with just one go at it. I think that's it. This is a time to rewind because sometimes this can be quite easy. Sometimes it's just a pain. Like I say, I have a saying, somebody else can do it, why can't I? And it's usually because I don't have the tools. The right tool for the right job. You know, so I think I would spam going there. See how much I've taken off? Taken all off. Actually, I might want some more off there. Oh, just not that. Just not that capacitor. That was a bit much there. I think that is enough. So what I do now, I've got the two chips, so let's get the two chips onto the hot plate. Don't know if you can see that. Anyway, I've put them there. Oh, you can see them on the big screen. So what I've done is I've put them here so that they get warmed up. Basically, this is getting warmed up. This is getting warmed up. And what I want them to do is I want them to be nice and clean. So what can we do? Alright. So I'll just put that there. Can you see that's my flux? Just normal flux. But once the chips are warmed up, what I'll do is I'll just dip the legs in the flux. So which way around is that going to go? That way. I'll try and get in shot. But basically I just pop it on there and then lose it. Right, I'm going to pause while I find that chip. Alright, let's try again and see if we can try not to make it disappear this time. No, I'm sorry about the light, but I need my let me just try and move it a little. But I need my magnifying glass to actually see what I'm doing. Oh damn. Right, so what we was doing was this one. Small dip. Try not to lose it in there. And let's just get it the right way around. There we go. I just hope with the other camera we can get that spotted so you can see. So I've got this one warmed up and then I'm just going to dip it and bollocks, I'm just going to put it like that. Turn the whole thing. I think I got a bit too much there. Look. That one bridging was that one. I don't know if you can see how much I'm taking off, but it's very little. Just tiny. Let's try bringing it in again. Just going to turn it down 180. Getting a bit warm there, it's starting to fry the PCB. Just need to rotate it a bit so I can see the other bits. It looks central as that one. That one does as well. Right. No, go this way a touch. That looks better. When you're moving them around like this, you can actually see if the solder's taken as well, because it goes with the feet, it pulls nicely. It's hard to show really, but when you do it yourself, you'll find out. And the easiest way, of course, is to get PCBWay to do it for you. They're the professionals, not me. Not by a long way. Yeah, I think that's about it. Right, so I'm going to turn that off now. And what I do now is, let's see if we can keep it all in shot. What I do, so I've got these two little bits of wood, and I pick the PCB up and I drop it on there so that can cool down, because this takes forever to the actual heater takes forever. Get my hand out of it. Alright, actually if I use this hand I'm not going to burn myself, am I? Yeah, this heater takes forever to cool down, and so this now is going to cool down here, and then what I'll do is I'll get my magnifying glass and go around it. So I'll just let it cool. I'm going to pause it, let it all cool down, and we'll come back because this is getting a long video. Alright, the PCB's cool down now. I can pick this up. Like I say, the hot plate, you can see there, it's still at 89 degrees, so I'm not going to touch that. But what I do now, the next step, is I take my microscope, USB microscope, and by hand I go around the board. So basically what I'm going to do is just go around the board like this and check everything out. So I'll let you see what I see. So this is a little application I made for my microscope. The reason I made it is I didn't like the one that came with it and the ones that are online. So what we'll do is we'll make it full screen, and you can see there, if I use my mouse I can zoom in. Oh well, let's get it in focus first. So let's get it focused on something. Right, so where are we? There we go. So that's how close I got it. So like I say, the microscope doesn't have a great deal of depth of view, but like I say, we can zoom out and we can zoom out in with the mouse, as well as changing the resolution. Obviously the resolution is different, but I've made the app so you can still zoom in and zoom out with the mouse, but obviously the higher resolution, this resolution is the actual device itself, so we can go to that resolution. There we go. Basically just I can't say the word, it puts everything together. And if we double click the screen we can get rid of this stuff on the side there, so we can have a good look. So I'm just going to go around. So they look okay from the top. That's on the driver, and on the other side they look alright from the top. There's a bit less at this end, but I don't know if you can see that there's like a fillet around them, and that tells me that the solder's got. But because I've got this in my hand, what I can do is I can tilt it and refocus just to get a better view on the edge. Where are we? There we go. And you can see there that we've got quite a good joint. That looks a bit ominous there. Oh no, I think it's just muck and flux there. And let's have a look at the other one. So let's have a look at this. This one, let's go straight on top again. So yeah, it looks like there's solder on all them. And we've got solder. That's okay. Yeah. Not as lined up as a machine would, but shaky hands. There we go, and I think the rest, basically, I should have put bigger pads for that. And this one. Yeah. There we go. So just moving back and forth with the focus. That's a bit out of line, but it's near enough. It's close enough, it's not touching the others. And what else do we have? Oh yes, there's the amp as well, so let's just check the amp. Yeah, you can see there that they've got solder on. The other side, yeah. Now what I did was, with my application, the cool thing about making your own applications and things, you can do stuff. You can make it do what you want it to do. Now, I don't know if you, like say, looking at this, The human eye tends to sort of get a bit of a blurry vision, trying to make out one thing from the next. So what if we change the colours? What if? Well, I could tell a line. Let's say let's do some X-rays, but that's a lie. I can't do X-rays, but we can do a negative inverse. So let's try and turn on negatives, right? So what it's going to do is look like that, and we can open a separate window. What I'll do is I'll just oh, hang on, press wrong thing, right? So we'll have that up, and what we can do is I can put a window there like that, so we can actually see the actual normal view, and then I can open this other window and we can look at a negative view, and you can see you can't really see it here with this let's get rid of that. Right, you can't really see it with this here. The flux, you see how the flux is like a browny colour, but you can see that the flux is now the whitey colour. You know, we're viewing it just as well in both, but the thing is, one is a negative, and it brings out the contrast a lot better for you to examine the connections. Even the writings, even if you want to, if you have writing on a chip like that, you can see that the negative, it shows up a lot better than it does. It does on the positive, if you know what I mean. We're getting a better sort of look. So what we can do is we can just move around. And the one thing that I found that this picks up well, if I can find it, I know I saw one. Where are we? Let me just refocus there. There, can you see that? There's a little ball of solder there, that little black bit there. Can you see that ball of solder? And you can see it's a nice black bit there. And we can go around. And it just gives you that little edge, really. Look, there's another ball of solder there. So what I can do, let's just pick that off. There we go. I just picked him off with my little pointy bit. Gone. Yes. So this has gone on. This video has gone on for ages as well. So I think actually what I need to do is do another part doing the through hole stuff, really, and I'll come back with the through hole in the next episode. Yeah, well, if you want to give me some feedback whether you like this sort of stuff or not, because I just don't know what I should be showing actually, and how much information that people really want to know. And oh, look, there's a little ball there as well. Right, yeah, and you can see, I mean, you know, you might see it all right on the positive, but the negative, I think it just shows it up a little bit better. Shows all the shit on the board, like, doesn't it? Anyways, yes, like I say, I'm going to leave it there, guys, and I'll make another one to continue fitting the through hole components, and hopefully that shouldn't take long, and we should be able to match it up to the actual player eventually and see if it works. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.